Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Peace and blessings. Grand risings. Thank you for joining. Welcome to the Supermoon TV show. I'm your host, Supermoon. I hope everybody had a good week. Wonderful week. Prosperous week. Hope things turned around in a positive way for you. Glad you made it to the weekend. Glad you made it to this Saturday. Thank you for joining me. My Knicks lost. Yes, I'm a Knicks fan. My Knicks lost last night. They are in the playoff series with the Atlanta Hawks in the state where I currently reside. I am a New Yorker, but I am an implant here in Georgia and unhappy about my Knicks losing. We had some people not showing up, producing. Our most improved player, he ain't show up, and Barrett ain't show up, Julius ain't show up, Taj ain't show up. The only person that showed up was the veteran. D Rose took him on his back. There's only so much he could do with two blown out knees. So I'm kind of nervous, hoping they pull through. They're playing these Atlanta Hawks. And Trey Young giving us a run for the money. But I digress. I hope we pull through. I want to talk about how racism is still alive, even in the NBA, professional sport, where you have people just recently allowed back in an arena due to the pandemic. Can't wait to be racist, spitting on players, dumping popcorn on them. I don't believe that's fandom. That's not, going overboard with the fandom. It's racism. You look at the people who were banned from the arenas. Look at their persuasion. Look at the people that they chose to do that to. Westbrook was hurt, leaving the game, and still gets popcorn dumped on him. Trey Young just trying to play the game, even though he was busting the Knicks' ass, gets whatever spit on him. I agree. That's disgusting. That should never happen. And I was a bit embarrassed to be a New Yorker at that time. But, yeah, racism is still alive and well and kicking. And these people can't wait to show it. Are going to continue to show it. Live it. But I'm going to get into today's show, and today's show is being passive has been our ASSES for the past 50 plus years. Being passive has been our ASSES. And what I mean by that is we've been going along to get along. I harp on this. Yes, I do. We've been going along to get along because we don't want to offend other people in other communities. And we've been doing that for too long. Not living our true selves, not stepping into who we are. And then we have black politicians, whether Republican or Democrat, but mostly Democrat, because that has been the tradition for the past, 40 years, 50 years. And they just go along, they get in there. Black politicians go along with the program, with the routine of keeping blacks impoverished with minimal opportunity to succeed, to make it out of impoverishment, to build wealth and empowerment for their family, community. Any attempts to better our community, empower our community has been destroyed. And black politicians sit by and take a blind eye to what goes on in their very own former community. There's no black leadership in politics. They're all puppets. The person who funds the campaign runs the politician. And that's the way it has always been, but they sell us a dream. They talk to black points, but then they turn around and scold us and say that we shouldn't be anti-racist towards Asians. Going along with the program of right now, the anti-Asian hate, racism, the law, and the whole movement. It's like a Me Too thing. Now, this is the latest. Black Lives Matter, Me Too, now no anti-Asian racism. And these are all things to neglect what we need as FBA, Foundational Black Americans, because they know that we're owed reparations and certain rights and just justice. Justice alone, we're owed justice. Forget apologies. I don't want an apology. I just want justice. I want to be done right by. I want my community to be done right by. Not for people to get up and tell us we're wrong for not just going along to get along, use our brains, when it comes to things that may be detrimental to ourselves, our community, our families. No, just, go with the program. And shame on you for using your own mind. That's the narrative. That's what we get. We can't fend for ourselves when all these other groups and communities, the LGBTQ the Latinos, the women's movements, all of these things they speak out against, or they speak out on, and they get funding. But as soon as we want to speak out against racism towards us, mistreatment towards us, they want to shame us. We get shamed. We get shamed for wanting to be human beings, live peacefully, be left the hell alone, stop being viewed as science projects, dissecting us, using our parts. So intrigued with the way we work, the way we tick, what makes us tick, and the way we move, the things that we do, how we move is intriguing to the white supremacists I'm speaking to about. So we have these so-called leaders as politics who continuously fail us. Prime example, Barack Hussein Obama. He was the last person that I voted for. What's the purpose? I stopped voting the first time because my first time voting, my vote was robbed with the Bush administration. I voted for Gore because I was really lost in politics, still am today, not very, thorough with it, but I understand what is detrimental to my community, and I understand the laws that they put out there that target my community. But my vote was taken because they had to do the recount. That's what it was. So I stopped voting then because that was some BS. No recount, no mistakes had ever been made in 132 years, I believe it was. But all of a sudden now that there was an opportunity to keep the momentum going with the whole Clinton era, and I'm telling you, I was lost and just didn't understand it. I didn't do a whole lot of research back then, so I thought it was cool, thought it was good having a Bill Clinton in there, not realizing and understanding that he was putting laws in place that was destroying the black family as we knew it. Because now, what is the black family? The black family is what today? In disarray, confused, hating itself. I understand that about politics. We've allowed for all these things to be in place. 3 strikes, stop and frisk. We voted for all of that just because we were voting traditionally, and you had the racist Democrats who actually run, white supremacists who run both parties, but the racists on the Democratic side smile in our face and put football numbers on itty bitty pieces of crack. When you had white boys back in the day, preppy boys buying yayo, crack, all that by the keys and getting slaps on wrists, getting caught with this stuff, getting slaps on wrists, you know, tied in with police, daddy's a judge, daddy's a cop, daddy's a lawyer, whatever the case may be, you know, daddy got money, daddy's white, I'm white. They was getting slaps on the wrist when our fathers and uncles and, you know, nephews and kids, youngins, 18, you know, doing football numbers. When I say football numbers, you know, you think of a football score, it's double digits. 10, 12, 25 in life. You know, a lot happens in just 1 year. A lot happens, you know. I think about, sometimes I drive into old neighborhoods, maybe doing an AC job or something like that, and I haven't been over there in a while, and so much has changed. You have some, you know, new buildings, new builds, new businesses, new plazas, new strip malls and hotels and apartment complexes, and it's just ridiculous of the change in 1 year. And that's just in the next county, city over. Imagine being gone 10 years, 12 years, 15 years, 20 years, 25 years, 30 years, coming out, you know, the last thing you knew was like pagers, Peli, Call Kanai, Fubu, Scott pages, you know what I'm saying? Wasn't all this tight stuff, all this rip pads, you know what I'm saying? Yeezys, you know, space-looking shoes, space-looking moon boot shoes, torn clothing. Imagine that culture shock. But yeah, that stemmed from us not knowing politics, not understanding, us voting and voting in things without reading and understanding. We just voting because our parents before us voted and their parents before them voted Democratic. You know, there was a time when the black community was Republican, and because of the Civil Rights Bill, I think it was Truman put out, that's when all the black folks switched their votes back over to Democratic vote. You know, it was said, you do this, you put this Civil Rights Bill out, you know, you'll have the black vote for 30 years. The Democratic Party had a black vote for 30 years. It's been well over 30 years. Ain't nothing changed for us. We've been used as puppets always. We've always been sold hope, prayers, hymns, songs. That's all the FBA community gets. Imaginary things. Things we have to imagine and envision ourselves being someday, but continuously putting our faith in these people to do it when They've shown us time and 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 time again that they are not going to do anything for us. And we've been passive about all of this. We've been passive about demanding what's ours, demanding what's owed to us. That's what's kept us in the predicament that we're in this very moment. Being passive and not claiming what's ours, demanding what's ours, speaking about who we are, speaking about the atrocities that was done to us. Be passive about everything because we don't want to offend nobody. We don't want to offend white women. We don't want to offend our white bosses, our white supervisors because, we're being too black. And I'm sure we've all been told that. Okay. Back to Obama, how he went along willingly, commandingly, as we sit there and hope that he's gonna, put some protections in there for us, because he sees the slaughters, just like we saw the slaughters under his watch. We know he's gonna do something about that. And the worst thing we could do. Are you serious? You telling me you couldn't write an executive order, sign an executive order to protect foundational black Americans? That's bullshit. But now you're going around doing interviews talking about how your hands were tied. I mean, what more do you want from us? We ain't giving you nothing else, man. The black community has written Obama off, like, those of us in the grassroots. And then some, people realize what it was with Obama, how he did us wrong. Coming around singing and stuff. Then calling us thugs, scolding us, telling us to pull ourselves up by our bootstraps, using the white supremacist talking points. We tired of that. We don't want to see you, man. What you coming around for? Talking about how and no pity from us. Your wife was complicit. It is what it is. Y'all gonna keep writing your books, sell it to the white folks, to the white supremacists, because that's what you cater to. You cater to your mom's folks. You need to cater to your dad's folks. Mr. Obama. And we was passive the whole time you was in office. We were passive about demanding that you write us some justice into play. After that first 4 years, that was enough. Like, okay, yeah, we know you can't be just the black president. Okay, well, we'll let you settle on in the presidency. But in 4 years, without saying nothing, we was bugging. After 4 years, sitting there watching him, hand out rations to other communities, and we sitting by, like, okay, our day is coming. We know he gonna hand us some rations. We're owed some rations. We need some rations. Okay, so he got all of them out the way in the first 4 years. Our our time is coming definitely in the next 4 years. So we vote the guy back in, and it got worse with the slaughtering. Starting with our brother Trayvon, Mike Brown, Philando Castillo. I mean, we lost a lot of brothers and sisters that year, man. During those last 4 years that dude was in office. Dylan Roof, and this dude ain't say nothing about none of our black folks. But you gonna sit there and shed some tears for Sandy Hook kids, which, that was a terrible atrocity, and, kids should never lose their life like that. But come on, man. Our kids, our teenagers, our adults, our women, our grandparents, everybody is being mistreated, slaughtered, lynched on TV live. Eric Garner was begging for his life, telling the motherfucker, I can't breathe. Sitting there committing a murder on camera. The cameraman gets charged. They dig in his background, charge him, put him in jail, because they want to protect white supremacy so bad. Freddie Gray, that whole situation. No, I'm sorry. Yeah, it was Freddie Gray. That whole situation. They blamed the police chief, I think was a lady. All of these people just in these positions cooning, soft toe tap dancing, not even soft toe, just hard bottom candy gloss tap shoes on. And those are the people in political positions. All this benign neglect and using black folks as buffers, black politicians as buffers between us, the people, the foundational people, the foundational black people, and white supremacy who owes us things. They use these black politicians to quiet us down, to tell us get out the streets. Y'all know better than this. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps. Y'all ain't nothing but some thugs. Those are the people that they put in office. Mammies and Sambos. To speak to the passionate ones in the community. The youngsters that's out here passionate for their community. Tired of being wronged by society, by the political system, by the legal system. Tired of being wrong, tired of seeing their brothers, their sisters, aunties, uncles, fathers, mothers, grandpops, grandmoms being murdered, mistreated, abused, used, and abused. And they're passionate about that, and they want it to stop, but they use Keisha Lance Bottoms to tell us to get out the streets, to tell us that we're wrong, shame us, but ain't nobody speaking to the things that we need, the things that could help those communities, the things that are being done to us being murdered in the streets. Rashard Brooks got murdered, shot in the back, but when you see any altercations with white people and cops, they always go home. They always go home or they go to jail. They always go home. Police reform is a joke. The argument, the movement for police reform is bullshit. Cops know better. And people of rank saying police reform, we're going to research and look into police reform. It's bullshit to get more funding for the police. I may not be a politician, but I understand what the hell goes on. I understand what the hell goes on because my community is directly affected. Barack Obama signed an executive order, which is called the Blue Law, which puts in protections for police, which in turn gives them more funding. We're passionate about researching things like we're passive about researching things like this. We have been, and that's why our asses are still in the same classes. Jim, we've been doing the same thing, and that's why our asses are in the same classes. Sitting here putting our trust and faith in these politicians who continuously give us their asses to kiss. Joe Biden. I was telling my people that know me, like, this ain't the move, with Kamala Harris. They pitting her as a black person, which she, vehemently denies being. She denies her blackness. She takes on, the things and passions of her mom, who is East Indian, of East Indian descent. And they don't mess with black folks like that. I've experienced it my damn self. They don't rock with us. Foundational FBA, they don't rock with us. But the game is get all black folks on board because she went to an HBCU, because she's an immigrant, because that's something that we fought for. Immigration, to get immigration rights, immigration kickbacks, go to school for, a deeply discounted rate because you're an immigrant, because your family's immigrants, and they use you. Her whole career in law enforcement, she was down with the, destroyed the black family gang. Locking hundreds, possibly thousands of foundational blacks, single mothers up for truancy of their kids. Hella weed violations, but then gets in there to, promoting weed when she had her campaign. We're passive about paying attention to these things. We gotta start reversing things, right? Obama's Blue Law emboldened police since he's left. He signed that in and got out, and now these dudes is running rampant, just busting, blasting us all, you know what I'm saying, all type of which way, getting away with these things. Only recently did Chauvin not get away because it's turn up season now. Black folks is turning up, showing up at folks' cribs, violators' cribs. And 2020 summer, we had the joint on fire. Black folks went wild, set this country on fire behind the injustices. Peace, fam. Welcome to the show. So we got justice from that because they didn't want, they knew if they had turned out the wrong verdict, that more of that was coming and probably even worse. And this young generation ain't having it. The new generation, the young generation is our babies, the Gen Xers babies. And they understand what's going on. They understand the mistreatment. And they not being passive. So we've done a great thing by instilling these things. And I'm thankful to hip hop, the people in hip hop who used to teach us, KRS-One, Chuck D, Tribe Called Quest, De La, Poor Righteous Teachers, all those type people that used to put us up on consciousness. We've been passive about just being ourselves as black people, afraid to offend white folks for just being ourselves, because you don't want to be viewed as being too black, especially on your job. You hold your tongue on a lot of things because you already know you're at a disadvantage. And we tend not to say what's on our mind, tend to end up in, predicaments we would prefer not to because we're afraid of opening up and just being who we are because of our blackness. And this, it's a gift and a curse. I don't see it as a curse, but because I stepped into my blackness, I am black. Wherever I am, whenever I am, I'm black through and through. I'm foundationally black. We're also passive about being business owners and generating revenue for our community, for the community. We're passive about it. We talk a good game. We always talking what we need to do, what we should do, but we don't actively put a foot forward. Also, we have been for so long not kind to one another. We've been murdering each other, killing each other in the streets for the past 40 years. And that's because of the confusion that's been put into our communities. First of all, we're in impoverished areas, low-income areas, starved of resources. We're sitting on top of one another, so it's crime is gonna generate. You put a group of rats in a cage and put one piece of cheese in there, crime is going to generate. They're going to, it's going to be a rumble for that one piece of cheese. They're not going, if they're starving, they're not thinking about divvying it up. And in our communities, you have thinkers, and then you have those who are doers, don't care about consequences to others in the community. But that's what impoverishment brings. That's what being starved of resources brings. It brings about those types of things, right? So that's the reason that we have been passive about coming together, because we don't trust one another, because of the fact that the confusion and the drugs and the crime that develops behind, all this poison that's pumped into our neighborhoods. You got beverage stores on every corner. You have churches on every corner in the community. Churches, continue to put the message of be good, be kind, live, love your master, love this white Jesus. And, you find them in communities rather than finding educational facilities. So we have to be aggressive about putting those types of things that, will reverse what we've been conditioned into. If you break it all down, we got liquor stores, we got as many liquor stores as we do have churches in our communities, but we're starved of resources, right? Think about all the abandoned buildings that they don't rebuild that's in our neighborhoods. We can't get the loans for the abandoned building to turn it into something. We're not given those same advantages just by sight. Just the sight of us turns judgments, the wrong way to the left, all the time. Sometimes we're fortunate. Sometimes, people are willing to sell their community out just to benefit themselves. But if you're somebody like myself, we're out the warrior class, grassroots class, and you'll take that money and take a loan and produce a business that will impoverish your community, that will empower your community. They can see it on you. You're going to have more problems with the paperwork than anybody. So we realize that once we start realizing that, we can't get nowhere if we don't love ourselves, and I know that's so cliche, and I don't really like saying it, but my point is, first we have to realize that we were pitted against one another. Just like I use the word pitted. Now let's look at pit bulls, right? They're trained to fight each other. They're the same type of breed, but they're trained to have hate for the next one. Trained to fight to the death. Conditioned. Some people even go as far as to feed their dogs gunpowder to make their brains even crazier. Put gunpowder in their food to drive them insane. So they go out there and just lose who they are, not even being aware of pain, just a loony dog, just a murderer. And in essence, that's what they do to us. They put bull crap in our foods. We're one big science project, one big nigga, and one big science project. As I was saying, we're passionate about being black around others, We gotta stop that. Be proud of your blackness. Step into your blackness. We ain't gotta, pipe down our conversation because it's white people around. They talk about stuff that's offensive to us all the time. They walk around privileged, saying what they want to say. We need to privilege ourselves by coming together and building and empowering our community. Going along to get along has been our reason that we're still in the same position. We voted to get along. We obeyed laws to get along. We paid taxes to get along. None of it worked. The minds of the people are different today, though. The community is waking up. The community is waking up, and it's a good thing. It's a beautiful thing. And I gotta connect to the charger because we about to die. So, going from the microphone to this, gotta hook up to the charger because it's a couple jewels I want to drop before I close the show out today. Hope you can hear me. Can you hear me, fam? So anyways, we did all these things, none of it worked. And we're creating our own narratives today. Creating our own narrative today. Reversing how we've been thinking, how we've been operating. We have been passive about our self-worth because that is what was given to us. Good looking. That is what was given to us. If you think about it, our whole way of thinking, the way we talk, that was given to our ancestors, who was brought over here, who was already here, living indigenous, because we are indigenous to this land. I say that, foundational black is indigenous to this land because when Columbus got here, we was already here. The Indians they talking about, that's us. You know what I mean? We was already here trading, commerce, all that type of stuff. So everything was stripped from us. Our spirituality, how we believed, how we worshipped, all that. And we was implanted with a European way of thinking, their way of thinking. All of this is European ways that has been developed, time and time again. And, foundational blacks, even with that, we took it and add flair. We got slang. We still got our own languages. We got the slang. We got our handshakes from the 70s, and we still, now they done brought it back. You see them doing it on the ball court, doing the 3-minute little handshakes, because we got style, finesse, flavor, and melanin. The melanin gives us all of that, and it's desired, it's wanted. That's why I said earlier, they treat us like science projects. They harbor our organs. Our melanin is worth more than gold. The actual melanin in our skin is worth more than gold. It can be extracted. So us being passive about our self-worth allowed for our minds to be captured, and we walk around here thinking like Europeans when they don't even accept us like that, and we walk around thinking that we're equal, and we are technically, yes, we are, but with their common laws and the way that they believe and how they want to maintain white supremacy, they don't view us as equal, and they have understood code that they utilize no matter what their beliefs. It all comes down to white supremacy, and they get on code when it comes to us, right?
With all the advantages and opportunities.
So, but today we know better. We're waking up and thinking for ourselves, and it's growing. And I'm passionate to y'all. My job is not to, convince. I'm just, relaying things. This is the way that we moving in the black community now. Like, we ain't really rocking with, the likes of Barack Obama and Stacey Abrams and Keisha Bottoms, the people that shame us for just wanting to be ourselves, wanting to be black, wanting to be who we are. They're jumping on the same game, trying to make us feel bad or feel away for rocking locks, rocking braids, having curly hair, big hair, a lot of hair, being the beautiful queens and goddesses, kings and gods that we are. They can't stand it, and they dumbed us down into believing that was grotesque, especially for our sisters with the big booties. They dumbed us down to believe that that's grotesque, yet and still they were making dresses with that extra caboose back there, because they ain't got nothing back there back in the, in the 18th century, 1800s, Elizabethan age, whenever that was. They was making the dresses with the big booth back there in the back, because they flat backs. They're not naturally built like that. They desire what we have, that we get naturally. They desire to have skin that absorbs the sun and replenishes them with vitamin D. This is why we're hated and subjugated to being treated as minors, less than 100%. Ain't no 3/5 over here. We 100%. And start stepping into your blackness. Let's not be passive anymore. Let's be aggressive about being empowered, empowering our community.
With all the advantages and opportunities.
Think about the passiveness that has kept us right where we at. Right where we at ain't great, and it's getting worse. They're continuously putting laws out there that is going to affect us just for existing. They trying to phase out the heterosexual black male because they don't want us to produce. They don't want that. They don't want no more Malcolms, no more Martins, no more Messiahs, no more Hueys, no more Fred Hamptons. They don't want that. They don't want thinkers that can organize and get the people to think for themselves and to withdraw from this unjust system of white supremacy. They don't want that. And the longer we don't pay attention, the longer we're passive about paying attention and understanding, the longer we're going to be right here. And the worse it's going to get for us as a community of foundational Black Americans. I'm just saying. But that's all I'm going to do on that subject for today. I just want to end the show, drop y'all a jewel. A Time magazine article from, I didn't get the date, but way back. And the article is called The Overlooked Black History of Memorial Day. Why? Because did you know that blacks started Memorial Day? The reason that we have Memorial Day is because of black folks. Freed black slaves, freed slaves started this. Yeah. Look up the Time magazine article, The Overlooked Black History of Memorial Day. And I'm just going to touch on a few points. You can go and read the article yourself. It's a good article, but they say, now this is how they started to play it being started. They say that two women from Columbus, Mississippi in 1866 started it because they was going around laying flowers on Civil War deceased graves. And that was in 66, like I said, but in actuality, according to a Pulitzer Prize winning author named David Blight, brought to light the year before, May 1st, 1865, freed slaves and some white missionaries in Charleston, South Carolina, actually started it. And this is documented and detailed in a book called Race and Reunion by Pulitzer Prize winner author David Blight. That's B-L-I-G-H-T. Right? So, Memorial Day, started by free slaves. Think about that when you smoking your pork on your grills this Monday. Think about the black history of this country, which is the history of this country. We built this thing. Foundational blacks built this thing. We was used in a horrific way, treated horrifically, and the Holocaust of foundational blacks still continues to this day. Foundational blacks, all blacks, because we're viewed as one big Negro. They don't stop and, try to decipher, are you Haitian? Are you a nigga? Are you an American nigga? Are you a Haitian nigga? Are you an American nigga? They're not trying to decipher that. They got the same bullet for both y'all's black behinds, right? They don't care. So think about the fact that it was us who created this holiday, who started this holiday, this tradition. And I wish y'all peace and blessings. This has been another episode of the Supermoon TV show. Thank y'all for tuning in. Have a great week. Have a prosperous week. Do what you like. Be who you like. Be black. Stop being passive about being black. Step into your blackness. Understand the power of your blackness. Understand the power of your vote or your non-vote. Understand the power of research. Let's not be passive about these things anymore. Let's not be passive about getting together and building. Let's not be passive about attempting to reverse how we act around each other, act towards one another. Just distrusting of each other. Let's build so that we can leave for generations, leave some positive, empowering things for generations to come. I'm with it. Hope you with it. Thanks again. We're going to see y'all next Saturday. Tune in to Supermoon TV show on Spotify. Check Supermoon TV on YouTube. Go to famlam.com. Check the merch.